You know, when you try to figure out where a political leader really stands in rhetoric versus reality, one of the documents I would look at is a budget. If you asked a politician to write a budget, it would tell you a lot about what that political leader thought about where the country was at and what priorities we pursue. Unfortunately, in this budget, I think we've taken a very reckless view of national defense. Over the last 20 years, the average in terms of GDP spending on national defense has been about 4%. When you add all the supplementals for Iraq and Afghanistan, we're about 4.5. In 2019, under the President's budget, we're spending 3% of GDP on defense. Now, I don't know what he believes the world is going to look like in 2019, but I'm very concerned. This is not the time to go cheap on defense. There is no peace dividend to be had until there is peace. And this world is not a peaceful place, as I understand the intelligence reports we receive. A growing threat from Iran, new engagements in Afghanistan. Iraq is not by any means done yet. The defense spending in this budget represents, I think, a very reckless view of where this country's at in terms of our ability to defend ourselves. Now, the interest on the national debt in 2019 will be $806 billion. Spending on national defense will be $720 billion. 10 years from now, under this budget, we're going to spend more on servicing the interest on our national debt than we'll be on our Defense Department. Non-defense spending climbs faster than defense spending. I would think that the first job of any federal politician, the president particularly as commander-in-chief, is to secure the nation. Can we reform the Defense Department? Yes, but not like this. So I hope that the American people will understand that this guns and butter debate that we've had for a long time in this country, that this budget is really heavy on butter and short on guns. 50% of the Defense Department budget is personnel cost. We're going to grow the Army and the Marine Corps, as we should, but something's got to give. What's going to give is weapon systems. We're wearing out equipment at a rate no one envisioned 5 or 6 years ago. We're flying the wings off these planes, and the equipment we've been using in Iraq and Afghanistan has served us well, but it's worn out. And the world is getting smarter in terms of their capability to meet our weapon systems. So we need to invest, I think, seriously in a new defense infrastructure to stay ahead of the weaponry to counter what we have today. So to me, this budget represents classic liberalism: increased taxes, increased social spending, and a decrease in defense spending. To say that this is disappointing is an understatement. Now is not the time to take money away from our Defense Department. Not in the world in which we live in, not in the world which awaits us in the next 10 years. I hope the President will reconsider this. This, to me, is a reckless exercise in budgeting driven by the fact that he's increased domestic spending so much that something had to give. And the President chose the one thing that I think we can't afford to give, and that is our national security.